Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Mindfully Aligned. I'm your host, Adanze Benjamin, and I hope that episode 8, yes, really 8, it's crazy how this is racking up. I hope that episode 8 finds you peaceful, aligned with yourself, and in a good space mentally. I hope you crush your goals, and I also hope that you do find time to rest. Today, we're going to slow it down. This episode is all about taking a breather and coming back down to earth. This is something I definitely struggle with sometimes myself. So I have many conversations with myself about this. You know, it's important to know when to pause, when to rest, when to switch gears, and when to take a step back. And this episode, I want to bring that all to you so you can carry that Zen, calm energy with you throughout this week and beyond. So without further ado, let's get into it. So first, I want to get into the importance of knowing when to pause. If you're anything like me, you want to keep going all the time. I'm somebody who also just gets very restless when I have time to rest or do nothing. I get this itchy feeling like I should be doing something right now. Like, this doesn't feel right. Like, why am I chilling right now? Especially during the week. Like, there's got to be something I'm missing. What do I need to do? Just as it's important to get our work done or get what we need to get done, it's also important that we make time to pause. Because you need to make sure you're not running on E. When you are pushing yourself to run on E, you might think it's more productive because you're not stopping to take a break, like you're just going to keep going, but it's actually counterproductive because instead of giving yourself that breather, you're pushing yourself past your limit, and then now anything that you put out in that zone that you're in, it's going to be significantly worse than what you could put out if you are rested and rejuvenated. So that's something I try to always remind myself when I'm working or working super late, trying to get this task done, this assignment done, past the deadline. You know, obviously, we're all about that hustle and that grind here, but it's important to take stock of, okay, am I working hard or am I really just overworking myself? Am I, like, you know, when you get to that point where you're making silly mistakes, you're so tired, it's time to stop. It's time to stop when you get to that point. Because bottom line, the product of you running on E isn't your best. It's just not. So we have to listen to our bodies because it gives us the signs. We just have to listen. Your body, when you get to that point, it's literally going to be screaming, telling you that you need to stop, you need to slow down, you need to relax, take a breather. And sometimes, again, if you're anything like me, you choose to ignore it because you would rather just get the work done. You would rather finish that assignment earlier. You would rather, you know, not have to do as much work the next day. You don't want to push it off. But our bodies are telling us something, and it's time we listen. Because when you strike that balance of productivity and rest, you produce really the best kind of results. You're producing at an optimal level. You are now at your best because when it's time to work, your body is ready, your mind is ready. They are both aligned and you are just in sync with yourself. And we want to get to that point. You know, we want to be producing our best work, and it's important to remember that taking a step back is part of getting to produce our best work. So as we try to listen to our bodies, it's important to figure out how we can notice the signs of burnout. It might be different for everyone, but the overarching, I guess, kind of symptoms of this is being easily overwhelmed. Your work is taking longer to complete. I mentioned silly mistakes, brain fog, lack of focus, randomly getting sick on and off. You feel overly stimulated and you're neglecting yourself. Like, you know, maybe you're not taking care of your hair. Maybe you're not. For me, that's the first thing to go. When I don't care about how my hair looks, I know I probably just need a break. You don't care how you're dressing. You don't care. You let yourself go. It's probably time for you to check in with yourself. So these are all ways that stress can manifest in the body. It can impact your cognitive abilities like brain fog and lack of focus. Stress can impact your immune system. That's why you might notice you randomly getting sick, or you feel like you're constantly battling a cold or a cough. Easily overwhelmed or overstimulated, that's your nervous system being exasperated, and when you take it to the next level, it can manifest as anxiety. It's now like on a scientific level. You can now see that when you are putting off that break that you need, it's affecting you on a scientific and biological level. And we don't want that. Again, we want to be operating at our peak capacity. I want to get into a little bit about cortisol because if you haven't seen it, there's a lot of that flying around online on TikTok and on Reels, and it's really important to manage our cortisol, and that is what has forced me to prioritize rest because I like to get work done, I like to be productive, but I also like to take care of my body. And so if I want to do both, that means I need to take a break. That means I need to keep my cortisol in check. So, what is cortisol? Cortisol is your body's main stress hormone. It works in your brain to control your mood, motivation, and fear. There are many things in your body that cortisol impacts, and I'm just going to name a few. It helps regulate your blood pressure, your sleep and wake cycle. So if you feel like you are just sleepless and wired throughout the night, you're tossing and turning throughout the night, you might have high cortisol levels. Your stress is now affecting your time to sleep, your time to rejuvenate, and now the cycle is just getting worse. It also keeps inflammation down and helps regulate your blood sugar and manages how your body uses carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. Now, this part is also key because when your cortisol is dysregulated, it can lead to weight gain. So if you are in a state of prolonged stress and you are also trying to lose weight or trying to get in shape, you are going to see slower results or maybe no results at all because your cortisol is keeping your body in fight or flight. And it's like almost saying, okay, I'm so stressed out right now. I don't want to lose any of this fat stored in my body. Like I'm in panic mode right now. I'm in fight or flight mode right now. So if you keep your body in that chronic state of stress for too long, it can lead to unwanted weight gain, high blood pressure, water retention, sleepless nights, a whole world of problems that we really don't need and we're not trying to get. And furthermore, down the line, chronic stress is one of the number one causes of chronic illness, blood pressure, blood sugar, all those things. It can increase your likeliness for cardiovascular diseases, heart attacks, hypertension. It can even increase your chances for diseases like dementia, all because we are storing this chronic stress in the body. Now, all of that can sometimes seem scary, especially like as students, there is a lot of stress that we face. If you are someone who's working a lot, someone who wants to be working hard, you might feel like you have a lot of stress in your life, but it's the life you chose, right? What do I do about this now? I don't want it to bite me in the butt in the future. I don't want to deteriorate my brain or deteriorate my body because of how hard I'm working. It doesn't have to. That is why we really need to strike a balance between work and relaxation. We can go after the things we want, but we also need to take care of ourselves too so that we can continue to get the results that we want from our work. So if you are someone who's super busy and that's why you are dealing with this stress issue, the idea of taking a whole mental health day or taking a week off randomly sounds like an insane luxury and pretty unattainable. And it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be one or the other. We don't have to run ourselves ragged or abandon our work for a long time. It's really about little things daily that can keep you in a good spot, keep you well balanced. and finding a way to have that routine. And does anyone else ever just feel guilty for relaxing? Like you finished all your work for the day, or you had a long, long day and you're trying to unwind, but it feels like you should be doing something else. I definitely feel that. And so I try to find guilt-free ways to relax. So that includes either reading, watching a documentary, going on a walk, listening to a podcast, taking a long, relaxing shower, maybe journaling after, putting on my candles, because scrolling on TikTok and stuff like that, counting that as your relaxation time, I hate feeling guilty after, and it can leave you feeling even more brain dead than you started out with. So there are little ways that you can incorporate habits that are rejuvenating without feeling like it's a waste of time. Because again, you don't have to sacrifice a whole day to have a mental health day. You don't have to sacrifice a week or more. It's just about finding little things. It could be in the start of your morning. It could be at the end of the day. But just little ways to relax. And some other ones I have are prioritizing consistent sleep. This is super important to regulating your cortisol levels. Sleep and cortisol, it really is like a vicious cycle, I guess, because if you don't get enough sleep, you become dysregulated, and then you won't be able to sleep. And since you won't be able to sleep, you become even more dysregulated. So we really want to stop that cycle. And so for me, I know I could really stay up all night if I wanted to, but that's because I'm wired and I'm not supposed to be. So a lot of times I force myself to go to bed early. Recently, I tried the Lemmy gummy vitamins. Of course, this is not an ad. We're not there yet as a podcast, but I saw a TikTok of these Lemmy gummies, and this girl said that she took 2 and she didn't expect it to be that good, but she knocked out and had the best sleep of her life. And I usually don't buy products I see off of TikTok, but that second I bought that gummy, and oh my goodness, it changed the game for me. I am somebody who really struggles with sleep. I can go to bed at 3:30 and still wake up at 8. Like, if I let my body do what it wanted to do, I would never get sleep, but that's self-destructive. So find whatever it takes for you to get that good night of sleep. Close the laptop, put the books down, get that good night's sleep, whether it's making your Sleepy Girl mocktail or popping your Lemmy gummies or your melatonin. Step 1 is get that sleep in check. I also like to get in like an hour of you time or me time every single day. And that could be going to the gym, doing yoga, journaling, anything besides just doom scrolling on social media, because that doesn't count. You're not quieting your mind. You are just consuming other people's thoughts and other people's content. And if anything, that just clutters your mind more. So what you want to do to kind of bring that heart rate down, bring yourself to an equilibrium, is find an hour in the day. Maybe that means waking up earlier and having a slow morning, or scheduling time in the gym, going for a walk, having a long routine to get ready for bed. Whatever that looks like for you, give yourself the time to just be there for you. We spend so much of our day working for other people, showing up to classes to listen to other people talk, performing for other people all the time. It's important that we make sure that we have time for ourselves. We show up for ourselves at least once a day. This is something me and Isabel mentioned in our episode about working out. That's really what that does for us. Working out is that guaranteed chunk of time in the day where it's just us. And I don't scroll on my phone when I'm working out. I don't handle like texts and work messages when I'm working out. That's just my time. That's protected time. Protected time really is the key. That's the word here. My therapist taught me all about that. She told me, Adanza, you need to make sure you have your protected time. Whatever it is for you, you make sure that that time is untouchable. People can have you any other part of the day. During work hours, sure, I'll show up. I'll do what I need to do. But during that 1 hour of Adanza time, don't bother me for anything. Like, that's me. And I need that in order to show up for other people. And so if you feel like you've been having those symptoms, getting easily overwhelmed, brain fog, lack of focus, scatterbrained, overstimulated, especially neglecting yourself, it really means that you need to have you time and be okay with that. Make time for that. Put that in your schedule. I have to put that in my schedule. Otherwise, I won't do it and I'll fill that time with other work. No, I have to have it in my calendar. If that's what you need to do, that's what you need to do. And that's okay. Just make it a priority the same way you prioritize showing up for other people. Make it a priority the same way you prioritize getting work done for other people, performing for other people. You also need to perform for yourself. So the gym, yoga, journaling. Sometimes I'll just have an R&B night where I just take a long shower playing my favorite R&B playlist and sit in bed playing Sudoku and my R&B music is just playing and I have my candles lit. Sometimes that's what it looks like for me. Whatever it is, you just want to quiet the noise and hear your own thoughts. Play some music, vibe out, find time to do that for an hour a day. And I promise you, you will see some crazy results. I also want to mention it's important that we do find the time to unwind and recalibrate during the week, because we might think that the weekend is when we relax, but if you are going out, staying up late, drinking, those things are fun. It's fun to do that, but just keep in mind, alcohol is a stressor on the body. It is something that raises your cortisol. So the 2 days of the week where you're not doing work, you're still agitating your body, you're still stressing your body, and you're still building that up. So that's why you have those Sunday scaries, and it's the top of the week, it's Monday, but you somehow don't feel good, even though you just had a weekend. And so that's why we really have to not count on the weekends to rejuvenate us. Why wait for the 2 days of the week when we can just have little moments throughout the week that make us feel good again? And so, all in all, it's really important that we remember to take care of ourselves. I know that if you're a listener of this podcast, you're somebody who values hard work, you value showing up for your commitments, showing up for others, performing well, but we also need to prioritize ourselves. You can't pour from an empty cup, unfortunately. I've tried. I know we've all tried. If you have nothing left to give, if you let yourself get too exhausted, it takes a toll on your work. It takes a toll on your relationships. It just takes a toll overall, and that's not something we want. We want to optimize our lives. We want to live the best life that we can. And so that doesn't necessarily mean working 24/7. It means working hard, but it also means taking a break, checking in, so that when we do get back to work, when we do open that laptop again, we are more productive. Everything is a lot more streamlined, more effortless. Those gears are greased and we're ready to go. So I hope that throughout this week, you can really be conscious of what your body is telling you. Notice the signs of when you're starting to get burnt out and figure out what are the little ways that work for you to stop that from happening. What are the little ways that you can fit you time into your schedule every day, or at least a few times a week? And lastly, just remember, reassure yourself that it's okay to take a breather. It's okay to need a break, because we're humans. We're not robots. We might put these crazy expectations on ourselves to accomplish XYZ for the week, a huge laundry list of tasks, but inevitably sometimes we fall short, and that might be because we need a break, and that's okay. We can't beat up on ourselves for needing a break. We just have to give it to ourselves because we deserve it. Sometimes we need a breather. And again, if we want to have the best results, sometimes that means taking a break. So next time you're sitting on the couch, chilling, and you feel guilty about it, just remind yourself that I earned this, I deserve it, and it's going to help me down the line to get even more stuff done tomorrow. What inspired today's episode is because this weekend I'm going on, well, actually, when you're listening to this, I will have just returned from the trip. I'm going to Puerto Rico with my mom and our family friends for a little girls' trip just for the weekend. It's something really necessary, and I feel like I've needed it. I know my mom has needed it. And so I was like, you know what? This is a great time to talk about relaxing and when you really need to schedule that in. So before we close out, we have to get into the song of the week. Today we have 2 songs of the week because, with all of the talk in the last episode, everything we covered, we just didn't get to it, okay? Like I said, sometimes we miss the mark, sometimes we don't do it all, okay? That's the theme of this episode. It's okay. So I'm going to give you guys a double whammy. The first song of the week will go with the theme of last week, which is evolving, tapping into your higher self. And so this one is called Changes by Dejlove, however you want to spell it. But it's called Changes. And it is such an amazing song. Again, another great one to run to. It's about exactly what the title says. It's about allowing yourself to evolve and turn into a new person, and how sometimes people can be mad at that. Sometimes people can hate on that because they have only one version of you that you can be in your mind, but you give yourself the permission to change. You give yourself the permission to be the person you want to be. And to hell with anyone who says otherwise. It's a great song. So again, check it out. It's Changes by Dejlove. And then the second song is now, chilling it out, vibing it out a bit. I'm sure we all know this one. It's Sativa by Janae Ko. Such a good one. I want to specifically mention it's the one with Ray Shremmerd, not just Sway Lee, the one with both of them, because Jim's verse is so good on this. It's such a relaxing song. When I feel high-strung, I love to play this song. It just gives me that feeling of lighting a nice candle and lighting some incense and just vibing out. So, Sativa by Janae Ko, great song. Once we get a lot of these songs going, I want to make a playlist for the podcast. And going off of the theme of today's episode, playlists are super important. I find them to be a great tool for allowing myself to relax. I have so many chill playlists, my R&B playlists. Those things are really my rock. My manifestation playlist I mentioned. I really love those. It helps me shift into the vibe that I want, because sometimes I'm too high strung, too stressed out. So the music really brings me back down to earth. So that's why I really love doing the song recommendations. So let me know if you guys are vibing with these 2 recommendations this week. And let me know if there's a song that reminds you of this episode. Chilling out, vibing. What's your vibey song? So yeah, that basically closes out today's episode. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you can carry on this lesson with you throughout the week and beyond, because we deserve to feel good. We deserve to take care of ourselves. We have to in order to operate in this world. So thank you guys so much for listening. Be sure to tune in next week on Monday, Mindful Monday. Be sure to subscribe, follow the podcast, like, share, all the things. Thank you again for listening, and I'll see you then.